I'm calling 911.
After months of brutal attacks during the COVID-19 pandemic
We never know when we're at the wrong place at the wrong time.
and xenophobic messages against Asian American people that culminated in this deadly shooting in Atlanta, a study released this year spotlights that hate against Asian American people has been happening for years. The study is called Hate Crimes Against Asians. The report looks at numbers from the U.S. Census and the National Incident-Based Reporting System between 1992 and 2014. It compared hate crimes against Asian Americans to hate crimes against African Americans and Hispanic people. After crunching the data, researchers found victims in all three groups tend to share similar demographics, with hate crimes mostly targeting young men between 18 and 34 who live near where they were attacked. And the analysis also revealed some differences. According to the study, Asian Americans have a higher risk of being attacked by strangers, are less likely to be assaulted in their homes, and are more likely to be targeted at school. It also found Asian Americans have a higher chance at being victimized by non-white offenders compared to Black and Hispanic people. The authors attributed that stat to Asian Americans often being labeled the model minority by other minority groups. It's a stereotype assuming Asian American success in economic, education, or other opportunities creates potential competition or threats by people in other racial groups, which in turn may lead to resentment and result in hate crimes. This study hopes to offer knowledge and understanding of cultural diversity, increase the awareness of violence against Asian Americans, and promote mutual respect. Michael Quander, WUSA 9.